Welcome to the Style and Grace podcast. Maintaining mental health and tackling real life issues. Honesty and compassion. Where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences.
Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to another episode of the Style and Grace podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Victoria, and it feels so good to be back. Again, I want to thank everyone for all of the birthday love. You guys are appreciated, and honestly, I am just truly blessed for life. You know what I'm saying? I'm at a point now where I am doing my best not to take life for granted, to enjoy the moments, understand the good times, the bad times, and all the times that's in between. Because you know what? If you're a believer, you know what the word says, all things work together for those that believe. Okay. So, yeah, definitely grateful for another year of life. So I'm excited about more life, more adventures, and just tap into more of what God has created me to do. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. Again, thank you guys for the love and support. And today's message attended the UpliftHer Brunch that was hosted by my girl Kendrea a few weeks ago. And she had two guest speakers. It was Tiffany Brown and also my auntie / mentor, Miss Roshanda Pratt, right? Miss Roshanda was the keynote speaker. And I wanted to go over a few notes from that event because I know we always say, oh my gosh, we attended an event, it was life-changing. Like, this event was definitely life-changing. And it's important that you get into rooms that are divine. You get what I'm saying? Get into rooms that will make you better. You get what I'm saying? That will check you, because baby, I was checked at that event, but it was a good checking though. But I want to go over a few notes, and as much as it blessed me, I really hope that it blesses you. And during the event, Miss Roshanda and Tiffany, the wisdom that they shared was amazing. Miss Roshanda talked about stepping into visibility, purpose, and obedience, and not just for ourselves, but because of our voices, our gifts, and our presence, because our presence, it does matter. So I want to dig deep into a few major takeaways from the event. Why your visibility will agitate people and why that's okay, how nothing with God is wasted, why consistency is God's character, and what it means for us. And the biggest one, you no longer have the right to be silent. So if you've been feeling hidden, hesitant, or just holding back, this episode is for you. Now, before I get into the episode, Miss Tiffany said something, right, that stuck out to me. She said, you have to be content in being set apart. You have to be content in being set apart. So as you're on this road to growth and change and becoming a better you are going to have to be okay with being set apart. Certain things you can't do. You know what I'm saying? You may want to, but is it good for where you're going? Is it going to set you back? You get what I'm saying? So that really stuck out to me. So let's get into this right here. Your visibility will agitate people. When Auntie Miss Rose said that, I was like, hold up, wait a minute now. She might be on to something. Because that statement hit hard, because let's be real, stepping into visibility makes people uncomfortable sometimes. And sometimes some people are used to you playing small. Some people like you better when you're silent. And some people will feel challenged when they see you walking in your purpose with confidence. But here's the truth, as Ms. Rose would say, your assignment isn't to make people comfortable. It's to be obedient, to show up, to do the work God has called you to do, regardless of who doesn't like it. And I want you to reflect on this. Have you ever felt like shrinking back because you're afraid of what others might think? Or not even about others, you're afraid of how your life will change. Have you ever dimmed your light to make people uncomfortable? If so, this is your reminder. You are not called to be hidden. It is time to step forward unapologetically. Nothing is wasted with God. And it was a reminder that every setback, every delay, every mistake, God can use it all. That season where you felt stuck, I've been there. oh my God, you just like, Lord, I don't know what to do. I feel stuck. I don't know, I know I was called to do this, but it's okay to pivot. Like I mentioned before, there is power in the pivot. So when you were feeling stuck, or if you're feeling stuck, this time is not wasted. The relationship that didn't work out, okay, that was not wasted. The job didn't work out, okay, that was not wasted. The problem is we only see the pieces, but God sees the full picture. When you understand who He is, He will reveal who you are. Shout out to Ms. Rowe for that. Again, when you understand who He is, He will reveal who you are. This is why it's so important to lean into trust instead of doubt. Because when things don't go the way we expect, we can know that God is still in control. And I want you to reflect on this. Where in your life have you felt like something was wasted? How can you shift your mindset and start seeing it as a part of your growth? Think about that. This one. You no longer have the right to be silent. I wrote this down in my notes and I had to say it loud and clear. God wants to take your private time with Him and make public. And I'm not talking about, the intimate moments with you and God that you guys are having, but the visions and the gifts that God has planted in your heart. It is time for you to act on that. And I remember before I talked about waiting for it to be the perfect time to launch and waiting for it to be the perfect time to do this and do that. And sometimes that procrastination will cause a delay and it will hold you back. And a lot of times we wait for the perfect time. In actuality, we're just being disobedient. We want things to be perfect. And I'm saying we because I'm in that too. And the more you wait and the more you delay, that's still an act of disobedience. That is still an act of disobedience. And in your quiet time, God has been preparing you. He's been developing you in the background. But it's time to step forward. I'm looking at my notes from the event, and Ms. Rose said, the rain is coming, but have you built your ark? Meaning you've had this vision, but have you been preparing, right? Have you been preparing, right? It is time. Like the rain is coming, AKA you know what you're supposed to be doing, but have you been preparing in that time? If so, it's time for you to step forward. We're waiting on the perfect moment, but the truth is the moment is now. If God has placed a calling on your life, it is not up for a debate. You have to walk in it. And I know it can be frustrating. It can be intimidating because we see so much on the social media and we see what other people have, not knowing that God has already given you provision for what you need to do. You just need to step out and do it. So where have you been hiding when you should be speaking? What's one thing that you've been afraid to step into that God has called you into? And remember, step into it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just step into it because Mark said something, my friend and mentor Mark, what did he say? He said, oh my gosh, was it Mark or Mike? I can't remember, but it's something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're progressing. You get what I'm saying? No, this is it. Mark says, start now and perfect later. Start now and perfect later. If you ever feel discouraged or you ever feel like, hey, I want to start this, but I'm not sure, do it. It's on your heart. Start now and perfect later because delayed obedience is still disobedience. Okay. And let's get into the consistency of God's character. Well, Miss Rose said this. She said, consistency is God's character. That stuck with me because a lot of times we'll start stuff and we don't finish it. Now that has been me. Like I'll have an idea. And my sister got on me about this the other day. I was like, yeah, Lisa, I have this idea. What do you think about it? And she was like, I like that idea. Matter of fact, I love all your ideas, but you're not doing anything with them. So basically, like, why are you telling me this? And it kind of hurt my feelings. Like, sister, why are you coming at me like that, y'all? And it was her tone too. She was real, I like all your ideas. Like, I was like, girl, you want to square with me? But it hit me like, okay, she is right. And that's what accountability looks like. And after that conversation, y'all, I got to work. I got to work and do what I was supposed to do. And that's another thing. You have to have people in your life that's going to check you, that's going to make sure you're working on your goals, working on your vision and making sure that you're doing what you are supposed to do. But consistency. God is consistent. And sometimes we'll start off with being consistent and then life will get in the way, or this didn't happen that way, this didn't happen that way. We'll start and stop. But when Ms. Rowe gave that reminder, God is consistent. God never starts something then abandons it. He makes a promise and he does not break it. He calls us to something, and if he calls us to something, he does not leave us to figure it out alone. So why do we struggle with being consistent in what God has called us to do? The key to growth, success, and breakthrough is faithfulness. What can you be consistent with this year? What small daily habits will move you closer to your purpose? If you want to lose weight, maybe you could just be like, you know what? I can just start walking, 3 times a week for 30 minutes. If you want to find a new job, I can just update my resume and go on LinkedIn, submitting a few applications. If you want to start a podcast, I can just start researching this or reaching out to people in that field. If you want to start a clothing line, let me Google how to start a clothing line or reach out to someone that's in that field. This is where the work happens, not in big flashy moments, but just showing up daily. You know what I'm saying? Just taking that small step to where you actually want to be. And I also want to share a few other notes that Ms. Rowe said. Visibility is power. And this is a part of visibility. Being seen by God, being seen by yourself, being seen by your inner circle, being seen by your audience, and being seen by your industry. Your visibility has power. So in this season, you do not have the right to remain silent. You have to show up. If there is a calling on your life, you have to show up. And she also said, God cannot perfect. Oh, I'm sorry, I want to get it right. He said, God cannot perfect what concerns you if you don't step into your concerns. You can't profit from what you dishonor. Meaning, if you're wanting to grow, if you want to be this influencer or whatever it is that you want to do in your life, you can't profit or you can't do well until you step into your concern. So are you being honest with God about what's going on? Because that's also a part of your visibility. And when she said that, I was like, oh, Miss Rowe, that was really, really good. So step into that. Your visibility is power. Create what you need. If you want a mentorship group and you never had one, create it. If you want to see content that's going to help men do better in every aspect of their life, or create it. Create what you need. And she said that and I believe this is why she started showing up as herself and mentoring others and just being a coach, because she said, I created what I needed. She said, I created what I needed as her younger self. So create what you need, the time. Find a group, find a community that can get you there. Because in the words of Ms. Rowe, Auntie Rowe, for your visibility, you deserve to be seen, paid, and heard. You deserve to be seen, paid, and heard. And be consistent. Be consistent. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear get you, because it definitely will. So here is my challenge to you. What's one thing you can do this week to step into greater visibility? Where have you been waiting? When should you be moving? If this episode spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Screenshot this episode and post it on IG and tag me, please, because I really want to hear from y'all. And like I said, we are growing and glowing together. So when y'all send me messages like, the message was great, it was speaking to me, like, share it with me. I want to share it with my audience. I want to share it with my people. And you don't have the right to remain silent anymore. If God has given you something, it's time for you to show up. And I know you're probably going to get tired of me saying it, but like I said before, I don't want y'all to be like me. I want y'all to be better than me. I don't want y'all to stop. I don't want y'all to have these ideas stuck in your head, these gifts stuck when you should be using them, because God can give them and God can take them away. God can give them and God take those gifts away. You know what I'm saying? Your same gift, somebody else can pick it up and go do it, and they won't even do it as good as you. But if you're being disobedient, It's not going to do anything for the kingdom. It's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to do anything for the people that are around you, because sometimes we feel like our gift is to affect the masses, these masses of people. And sometimes it just could be to affect your family, your coworker, the person that you meet down the street. Don't dishonor your gift. Don't dishonor the vision. Be consistent, because God is consistent with us. I love y'all. I'm grateful for y'all. And thank you for being part of another episode. And here is where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences. Until next time.